Hey, Will, what's that smell? PU. Kinda smells like geriatrics. Why would that be? I don't know. Probably because me and Will are both seniors here at this speakeasy called IU. In a couple months, we're gonna jump ship and gallop on out of here. But until that happens, there are a couple little things that tickle the ivories just the right way that we want to accomplish.
That's right, every senior has a bucket list. For some people, maybe it's putting your feet up on that old IU Art Museum wall. For others, maybe it's jumping in that Showalter fountain. For some people, it's just setting a room on fire at
Webster's
Valentine's.
Dictionary defines a bucket list as the things you do before you die.
Thank you, Danny. All those things that I listed are kind of G-rated. They're a little Pixar. We wanted to go for the X Factor, the PG-13 Pirates of the Caribbean type bucket list. And I think that's what we got, Danny. Thoughts?
Webster's Dictionary defines Pirates of the Caribbean as a movie with Johnny Depp. Pretty good, check it out.
Yes, it does, Danny. Here are some of the things that we got to knock off of our bucket list.
Oh, Gandhi? Mother Teresa? Who else comes next in that list? Herman B. Wells, exactly. So we set out to find him before we leave IU to get a little advice. Unfortunately, he's a pretty busy guy, so we settled for what we could get. The dialogue was a little one-sided, but I think it worked out all right. Yeah, I don't know, Dad. Sorry, Herman. You're making a lot of great points. It just feels like she's never gonna notice me, like, oh, I hate you so much. Oh, you ate my goldfish. Oh, you took a bath with my bed sheets. Just like weird girl stuff, you know? But like, you know girls, right? Look at you, you're a smoke show. I wanna be like you, man. Yeah, I talked to Herman for a while. He's got a lot of great things to say. A little stoic, but I'm really glad I had the encounter. He's just got soft hands.
You know, when I was thinking about how to go out in a blaze of glory, I thought, what do all the cool kids do? And then I remembered flash mobs. So I thought, if I'm gonna be cool, I gotta do what the cool kids do. You know, that classic high school logic. And so I decided to just go for it.
We're doing that now, so actually pre-finals. I don't know when we're doing it. He said some Tuesday night, which I'm guessing is gonna be before finals week, because that's gonna be kind of like, you know, it's bad.
It's gonna suck, but it'll be better than that. But what color does he want to get to?
I don't know. I thought you were gonna take a left point off that straight.
Well, we ran into a couple of issues with the flash mob. First being that none of the other flashers showed up, which made it a challenge, made it more of a party of one. The second issue was that we weren't able to get licensing for the music, so we did it a cappella as a manner of speaking. So surprising amount of red tape involved with flash mobs. That being said, I think we successfully got across our message about dog obesity.
Welcome to Hoosier Country, where we bleed cream and crimson. Guess what? They were right. Come to IU, where the banners flow like the gravy. Yeah, But we can't all be sports stars like Serena Williams or Colin Hartman. So guess what? We headed to the field of Woodlawn to play the games with the guys. Roll clip. Hey, David Beckham. Suck eggs.
You know, everybody comes to IU for the education. I mean, that goes without saying. But I wasn't an education major, and yet I still wanted to give back. It's just the kind of guy I am. So, decided to seize control of the classroom and teach. My true calling. Here we go. Professor Egley, is that right? Professor Egley had to leave unexpectedly, so I will be taking over for the class. Working about that later. My name is Professor De Monte Cristo. Does everybody remember it? Now forget it, okay? Professor De Monte Cristo is my father's name. You can call me Jupiter. Class started off great. I was connecting with the students on an emotional level. And then this one guy, Paul, kind of derailed things. But before we start, what's your name, sir? Paul. Do you have the textbook, Paul? You don't have the textbook. Did you read the syllabus, Paul? So there was that, but then this other guy, Dan, started to get real sassy. Do you have your textbook? Nope. What's your name? Dan. Okay, Dan. Dan and Paul here have decided to set a negative pace for the class starting immediately, which is unfortunate. I'll admit, I was a little flustered, but then I said, Will, remember your training as a broadcast journalism major. and right this ship. That's exactly what I did. This is a participation-based course, and if you're not willing to participate, then you can get out. Dan, thank you. You may leave. Joking.
You had me.
Grace. My grace is sufficient, okay? Dan's a good kid, a sharp kid, and I knew with the right push from me, he could turn out being a great middle school gym teacher. Now that I'd righted the ship with Dan, I decided to get back to what was really the important part of the class. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Who's ready to lead it? Dan, do you know the Pledge of Allegiance? Come on in. You're doing just fine. You don't do? Does anybody know the Pledge of Allegiance?
Don't you need a flag?
Yeah.
We can use the exit sign. What are the effects of LSD?
Hallucinations.
Wrong. Broken homes are the effects of LSD. You would all do well to remember that. That was really what I was hoping to communicate to the kids. What really matters, their futures, their livelihoods. Things were really starting to pick up, but then it all went in the can. Hello. Are you students? Are you joining late in the semester?
What's going on? Anyone want to volunteer?
He wants us to do the Pledge of Allegiance to the exit sign.
All right.
We're changing things up.
That's awesome.
It's a new
so
policy.
the exit sign sounds like a good idea.
Uh-huh.
Why don't you utilize that?
Oh, burn.
right now.
Professor Egley is sharp as always. Well, students, I learned a lot. I hope you did as well. Thank you. Hold your applause. Thank you. Well, Professor Egley went and just did me dirty, and that's unfortunate. I was just hitting my stride, as you probably could have seen, but I think all in all, it was an amazing experience. I can truly say that I believe in the old adage of Proverbs, of Solomon's, that the teacher learns more from the student than the student does from the teacher.
As a guy who met his wife in the DMV, I love to get my hands greasy, down and dirty with big machinery. So what does that mean? Oh yeah, let's try driving a bus. So that's what we tried to do. What was your name again?
I never said it in the first place.
Oh.
My name is Corey.
Corey? I'm James. Nice to meet you. If I was training to be a bus driver, what would I need to focus on the most to drive for Campus Bus?
Study test.
What's
There's a CDL test.
a CD? Is that like the LSAT? What would you think about maybe titillate the idea around of me driving this bus for a couple turns? Maybe I watch you for a couple turns, we switch a couple turns, you rub my back, I rub your back.
Well, that would be
You
on
know.
my back.
Well, give you a break. Those dogs look like they're howling, Put those feet up for a little while. Are they pretty loose on the policies here? Just run over a couple people as long as you're doing your route on time. I may not have got to drive a bus today, but what Corey doesn't know is I'm more than good at just driving things. I'm also really good at arts and crafts, specifically scissors, so I cut his brakes. Pretty provocative stuff, huh? Well, guess what? Why don't you call it North Korea on the landline and tell them that they just got one up by a guy in a blouse and the weird-looking guy sitting next to the guy in the blouse. That's fine. Well, what did we learn here today? For you younger guys, we learned that there's still time left, and there's probably a lot of stuff at IU that you haven't done before. For us older guys, sorry, autopsy's in, and the cause of death, graduation.
That's right, Ron Weasley. Gary Busey once said, "Hey, I think Nick Nolte is hiding out in my basement."
Webster's Dictionary defines a basement as the lowest part of a house, probably below the middle level and even lower than the top level.
Almost as low as our graves, because we're graduating, and that means that we're basically dying. But hey, your time is still a ticking, so why don't you take advantage and start making your bucket list today? We're out.